All right, what's up everybody? It's been a little bit since I've done a video. I think the last one I posted was that second turkey I got this year. And as I mentioned in my gear review video about what I carry when I turkey hunt, I said I would do a review on this vest after I used it for a season. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now because I used it a lot this season. I used it in West Virginia, I used it in North Carolina, and I used it in South Carolina. So it has seen some things, and I've got some goods and bads about it, and I'll go over both of those. But to start off, so this is kind of how my turkey season went. I got a couple of these. I don't know why I decided to mount them. I've got so many turkey fans, and I've thrown so many away over the years. But I figured, well, these are pretty nice. They had some good color to them, so I'll mount them. Maybe I'll put them in the garage. But anyway, back to the turkey vest. So what I have here, the vest that I'm using is a Knight and Hale Run-N-Gun 200. And the reason I chose this vest and I got rid of my lumbar pack that I used to carry is because I like to do run and gun. If I have to sit all day, I will, but I prefer to be moving around and not waste a lot of time on a bird that's not going to commit. But the good thing I haven't had in the past is something to sit on, which this vest has, so that's a good plus. So if you're running a gun or you just want to sit on a tree for a while, this one's pretty comfortable to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start going through some of the things I like about it. And I'll start with, I'm just going to go through the pockets and tell you how I have them set up and the goods and bads about it. So pocket right here, this is essentially where your mouth calls go. It opens up like that. You got a couple little elastic bands where you can slip your calls in and you don't have to worry about them falling out. And then in the back there's a little pocket here that you can, put some additional calls in there if you want to carry cases. I had a plastic case in this when I first started to carry extra calls, but I took it out because what happens is it makes it a little thicker, and a lot of times this thing would be flopped open when I'm walking, which not a big deal. You just slap it closed and it'll stay closed well enough. So this is this pocket right here sits over the right breast. All right, the inside there, I keep my crow call and my owl hooter. The owl hooter is pretty long. I don't know, it's probably 7 inches maybe. And that's about, you don't want to get something too long to go in there because that 7 inches, it's got to sit a little bit catty-cornered so you can zip it up. And when you stick another call in there, it kind of restricts it. But either way, I can keep that crow call and then that owl hooter in here, and it zips up pretty well. And the good thing about it is it's nice and snug and nothing really rattles around in there, so that's a plus. The other thing you got back here on the back side, there's this little pocket that you can slide your extra slack from when you're, from your vest when you're adjusting it, or you can put something else in there. In my case, what I use is I slid the tube for my water bladder in there, and it worked out really well. Kept it from flopping around. All right, let's go ahead in this lower pocket. Lower pocket's pretty good size. Like, you can keep some snacks in here if you want to. What it's designed for, it's a shell pocket. I keep all my shells in here. And this is a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got a 6 shell holder that I keep in there. But ultimately, it's designed to carry things in there. So your shell, if you look in there, you've got shell pockets. I put a 20 gauge shell in there and it held just fine. And obviously 12 gauge isn't going to be a problem. It's just going to be a little snugger. So, good pocket. It holds a lot of stuff. Again, I just kept my shells in there. And then I also, it's not in here now. I put some stuff back in here just for the video, but I keep an extra choke. I keep my regular full-size choke in here in case I'm in a really close setup. I don't need to use that extended choke. I can swap them out real quick. So that's kind of what I keep in that pocket. But pretty good sized pocket. I mean, it'll hold your phone in there just fine too if you had all your shells and some other things in there. All right, and one of my favorite pockets, I didn't think I was going to like it because it's not, you can't really secure it. But there's this little pocket here on the back. So this right here is going to sit around closer to your waist depending on how you adjust it. And then this one's going to sit kind of on your back, like where your love handles would be in my case. But it's just a nice little elastic pocket. And what I do is I, keep my gloves in there, kept a beanie in there, and then most times I'd have my face mask that I would wear that, to cover my face. And everything fits in that pocket pretty well, and it's easy to get things out and adjust them as needed. But yeah, I kept some gloves in there, and I kept a beanie, like a light beanie, and my face mask. In this case, like, you know, I've got these gloves because it seems like every turkey season I lose one of my camo gloves, and there's one somewhere in the hills of West Virginia. I don't know where it's at, but I dropped it somewhere. I don't know where I dropped it, but either way, it's not a fault of this pocket. This pocket worked great. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move the left side. So essentially what's going to cover your left breast and then around your waist. So up top, they've got this pocket here, which is really nice for your pot call, but you can keep some strikers in there. So it's got a room for 4 strikers. I keep 3. I really only use 2, but I keep 3 in there. Who knows? Sometimes I might end up using it. But it's a good pocket. You know, it's got I don't know if you can see it in the video there, but it's got really nice bungee in there, so you can just slide those things in there, and it keeps it from wiggling around. And then down at the bottom of the pocket, which you can't see, there's some more straps. So once you slide these down, these seat in there pretty good because they catch in the bottom, so the bottom's just not rattling around. But again, that's a good pocket. It's pretty sizable. If you're not using anything other than strikers, then you'll be good, but you can probably put some other stuff in there if you only carry 1 or 2 strikers. Alrighty, again, on the left breast up here, right here in this pocket is where you're going to have probably put your pot calls or cell phone or whatever you choose to use. I only carry 1 pot call with me. My buddy of mine makes some upstream downwind, so his is the only pot call I carry with me. So this one, pretty much, I would use it. I'd either stick my phone in there for a short time. I wouldn't run around with it because, again, it's not a zip top, and I don't want to. Obviously, you don't want to drop your phone in the middle of the woods. But it's really nice. You can stick, you know, small stuff in there. This bottom one, again, I keep a pot call in there, so it's pretty good size pot call. But I had no problems with that thing moving around or making any noise when I was running around, and this thing got to see some action going through a lot of bushes, and nothing ever fell out. So that's some good sense of security there when you're carrying things in open pockets. All right, now let's get to this pretty cool pocket down here. This is pocket designed for the box call. As you can hear, the box calls in there. So go ahead and take it out, and I'll go through some of the features for this. So I was gifted a very nice box call from a buddy that I ended up carrying through the rest of the season, and it fit in here like a champ. So, but let's go ahead and go through this pocket, some of the things I like and things I don't like about it. All right, so they've got this pretty innovative design here. So if you've got a box call, you know one of the problems when you're carrying it, walk around, you get it bumped. Well, so they've got this pocket up here in the top where you can essentially slide the top of your call and then split it from the bottom. So let me go ahead and get that in there so you can see what it does. A little stiff because I didn't use that pocket much this year. But there you go. So now it's in there. Now I'm not going to close it, but when it's in there, you can see what's happening. Like, you can shake it around, you can bump it, and it makes no noise because it's not allowing those 2 pieces of wood to rub together and you know, make an accidental, you know, cluck or something, or that's going to scare a turkey away. So it's really good in that aspect that it keeps that box call quiet. Now here's the thing I didn't like about that pocket. So again, positives, it keeps that call from moving around, it keeps it from making a lot of noise, and it's just really quiet, and you don't have to do much to secure it. You can essentially fasten the top and run around, and it's not going to make any noise. So here's the drawback to that. So when you're putting it in there, I don't carry chalk with me in my pack all the time because sometimes you get rained on. Stuff you don't want to get wet could get wet, and then as chalk you can crush it up and end up breaking it. So I don't keep chalk with me in my pack. It usually stays in the car. Well, when you're splitting using this little divider that keeps that top from rubbing onto the bottom, if you're running a lot and using that box call on windy days trying to get a bird, and you keep taking it out and putting it back in, you start rubbing that chalk off, and you notice it pretty quickly that chalk comes off. So what I did is, you know, I kept a piece of Velcro that I would slide around the top of that call, and it would keep it from moving. And then I would put that in there, and I wouldn't even use that little divider. And again, that's personal preference, but I didn't like having to re-chalk my call after, you know, taking it out a few, you know, times, and then you're just not getting the sound you want. So But so if you choose to do that, it comes with another good feature. If you don't want to use that because you don't want to rub your chalk off, it's got this little cinch here, and you can put your caul in there and you can cinch it down pretty good. And if you don't have a piece of Velcro or a hair tie or a rubber band to keep that caul from squawking, you can cinch that down and it holds it pretty well, and it keeps it pretty quiet, which, I mean, that's mainly what I did for the most part, because after, I'd be out there for a few hours, and the next thing you know, my box caul, because it was windy and I've been using it a lot and putting it back in and moving locations, and it stopped, I could tell that chalk was rubbing off. So I stopped using that, and then I just used this little cinch, and it worked pretty well, and it kept it pretty quiet. And I didn't, every once in a while I'd bump it and you get, the little cluck from that box squawking, but other than that, it was pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, now on the back. So this side had a little pouch that we covered, and this is where you're going to sit on your back left for your love handle. As you can see, they've got some MOLLE attachments. So you can pretty much hook whatever you want there, as long as it's, set up for the MOLLE system. And I mean, even if you want to just clip something there, then it's going to work. So kind of unlimited options, really. I had an extra thing I was going to clip on there, but well, I forgot to pack it, and then I never got around to putting it on. So I'll do that next year for turkey season, and who knows what I'll keep in there. But so really nice to have that feature there. Again, I didn't use it mainly because I've had 2 shoulder surgeries on my left side, so my left arm doesn't bend as well as my right arm. But good option for you that carry MOLLE stuff. If you want to keep a pistol back there, then you're good to go. All right, let's get into the big part of this pack. So on the back here, there's a pretty nice little bungee setup. I use this mainly to put, like if I had a rain jacket or something like that, I'd roll it up real tight and I'd slide it in there and then bungee it down, and it would hold it perfectly fine. And that thing worked out great. I use it, for small stuff, small gear. If we found a couple sheds, when I was out there hunting, I put the sheds in there so I didn't have to kept my hands free. But either way, that good little bungee is pretty stretchy, and had 0 problems with it. And it's a nice feature to give you a little bit of extra storage, just not going inside the pack. All right, so what do we got inside the pack? Well, I just put a few things in here that I had laying around. There's my choke and stuff. Let's see what else I got. Oh yeah, and then got that. This goes with my scale so I can weigh the birds. Little cereal bar I guess I didn't eat. And that's about it. So inside this pack, I keep I've got a 1 liter water bladder. You can probably get a 2 liter if you get one that's short enough. This pack's not super long, but I've got a 1 liter bladder in here that works out really well. Take it out real quick. So you can see the size comparison. It's not too bad, but if you run around and you have to carry water bottles, you know how that can kind of be a pain in the butt. But with this with that 1 liter water bladder, it's really nice just having a hose that runs up to the front of your vest, and you can just pull some water out of it. Now, as far as the roominess in this pack, there's a good bit of room in there. I wouldn't say it's like you couldn't shove a bird in there for sure if you're looking to pack a bird out with that. But the thing is it's just nice. You can I usually kept my wet wipes in there, some toilet paper if I needed it. A little heavier beanie or something if it was colder day, some heavier gloves. Also kept my snacks and my food in there, as well as that full water bladder, so it held pretty well. And then, just random miscellaneous stuff, a multi-tool and things that you would need out in the field. But it worked out really well, and I have 0 complaints, and I'm really happy with this vest. So, and then the other thing is you've got the seat. So don't really need to go too much over the seat, other than I sat on this thing for hours over the season, and it's comfortable. I like it. Now, one thing that I was worried about was this bottom, like punching holes in it, because if you sit on like some rough twigs or some rocks or something along those lines, you don't want it to punch a hole in there and immediately rip your cushion. This bottom is pretty solid. It's almost like a thin version of like a Monster liner or Rhino liner or something. I don't know what the material is, but it's solid. I remember sitting on a bunch of sticks and I'd hear a snap and I thought it punched a hole in it, but that was the weight of this plus me on top of it breaking that stick rather than it punching a hole. So nice and solid, good. And it's really nice to have a dry butt when you stand up after sitting and some like really dewy stuff for a while. It's been raining because it got rained on a lot this season. But so those are the big features for this vest that I really like. Now, one thing I was really weary of is, so this material on here, I don't really know what it is. I could probably look it up, but I'll just tell you what I like about it. So when I first got it, I was a little worried about it ripping and tearing, because when you're hunting in the South, there's a lot of thorns and briars that you're going to run through, and things get snagged and tearing. I've got so much like camo that's got burrs on it from just going through briars. This material is extremely quiet, which is really good, especially when you're turkey hunting, and it's very durable. So I ran this thing through all kinds of briars, all kinds of thick stuff, and I have 0 tears on it. It doesn't snag that great, which is even better. So if you're pushing through briars, it's not like you're wearing a pair of cotton trousers or a cotton shirt that's going to get snagged and spin you around. It kind of it just doesn't snag that well. I have no tears in it, no rips, and I've crawled on my stomach through briars in this thing, and it just works out really well. So really a big fan of this fabric, and it blends in pretty well. I've got I think the bottom land is what essentially looks like you're leaning against an oak tree, and it worked out really, really well. Now, one thing that came with it, so it came with a turkey tote. At least I think it was a turkey tote, and that thing, I tried it, and I think it was just something they put together and threw in the bag, and I didn't really like it. I don't even have it anymore because it's in the trash. But it came with this decoy tote. This decoy tote is pretty nice. It's got a little stretchy band to it. You can adjust it as needed. It's got some good solid hooks, not hooks, but it's got some rings where you can essentially slip the decoy's head through there and slip the tail through there and then sling it over your shoulder. Now, what this thing actually works good for is if you shorten this strap up, this will hold a turkey, and it holds a turkey pretty well. And here's the other good thing about it. So it's got these two hooks on it here, and these things are really nice because on the back of the vest, up here on your up here by the top of the shoulder harness, you got a couple little D-rings that are pretty solid. And these things, if you got a turkey, you essentially hook it up like you would a decoy, run this ring around its head and run the other ring around its foot or feet, and then what you do is you clip it here to your vest in these 2 spots, and you're good to go. Like, it's a solid, it doesn't bounce around when you walk, because these things are hooked directly to the top of your harness, and you're good to go. You just get that turkey, clip it in, throw your pack back on, and then walk out of the woods, and it's pretty convenient. I got to use it once, and then another turkey I got was 150 yards from the road, and I don't even remember. I don't think I had my vest on. I think, well, I might have. I'd have to go back and watch the video. But anyway, I was just pumped to get that bird on the last day of the season, so I carried it over my shoulder. But the other one, ended up using this, carried it out on my shoulder, and then hooked it to this and walked it back. So works out great. I'm really happy with this vest. Again, it's the Knight and Hale Run-N-Gun 200, and I look forward to using it again next season and putting it through the paces. This thing was used in cold weather, warm weather, torrential downpours. It dries out pretty fast because this fabric is it's pretty breathable, and I'll probably end up treating it this year with some Scotch Guard or something to keep it a little more waterproof. But really happy with it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're looking to buy this for my style of hunting, again, running, gunning, moving around, I really like it. It's slim, it's lightweight, it does what I need it to do, and I have pretty much 0 complaints other than that one pocket where it was essentially rubbing off the chalk on my box call. But other than that, everything else, all the other pockets, you can use them how you want, and there's limitless opportunities when it comes to how you want to set this thing up and configure it. And then having that extra molly part on the back, which again, I didn't use it, but you can add so many things to that. Oh, and the other thing I like about this too is the seat adjustment. So you can leave it sitting down flopping when you're walking and let it slap you in the back of the legs, or it's designed where you can cinch the straps and then you just push it backwards and it stands up on your back. And the other good thing about that too is, not that it really matters if a turkey walks up behind you and sees you, you're going to get busted. But when it's on your back, like you're not seeing this part. It's this part that's setting out so that essentially it's just adding camo to you instead of camo and then a big black spot where the bottom of this thing is, like some other vest. So well, if you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully it was informational and you like it. So if you're looking for this vest, again, I recommend it. I like it, and I've had zero issues with it. So everybody, happy hunting. I know it's we got deer season coming up here in a couple months. August 15th is when it starts here in South Carolina. So I'm going to do some fishing between now and then, but getting ready for next turkey season already. So if you're looking for a turkey vest, I recommend it. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I appreciate the comments. As long as they're positive comments. I don't like people, going back and forth and bashing each other on the thread, because that's no fun for anybody. But if you like it, just leave a comment, or if you have any questions that I didn't answer on this, let me know, and I will be sure to answer you when I can. So take care, have a good one, and appreciate y'all watching.